So after 2 years postponements and over 6 years after his last appearance on the silver screen, James Bond returns in Daniel Craig's swan song movie No Time to Die. So is this finale worth the wait? Welcome to Geeks and Grapplers. My name is Dom and this is my review for No Time to Die. There is so much to unpick in this movie, but I'll try to keep it to the key points and give you a flavour of what to expect. This will be spoiler free too. There may be subtle hints, but I won't ruin any of the movie for you. So the first time we see Bond, he's where we left him at the end of Spectre. Happily retired, again, in Matera, Italy. And it's not long before the action kicks in and Bond is drawn back into yet another plot to save the world. Now the film doesn't just go through the motions to move the plot through. Referring to key moments and characters from previous Craig films makes the motivation of characters feel genuinely earned. Certainly, the first half of the film leans heavily into the plot points set up in Spectre, which I feel will pass some casual fans by. As we said before, Spectre was over 6 years ago, and I think if I hadn't recently rewatched it in preparation for No Time to Die, there would have been parts that even I would have been confused about a bit. The action is classic Bond, with stunning set pieces littered throughout the film. I think the Italy scene at the beginning of the film is breathtaking and is easily my favourite. Now, that's not to say the rest of the film's action is lacking though, and is beautifully shot and scored throughout. The quality of the action set pieces helps to make the 2-hour 45-minute runtime feel a lot shorter. I think it's almost like 20 minutes or so before the title sequence plays even. So let's move on and talk about the cast. Now there's no doubt that Rami Malek is a great actor with incredible range, but that's not really on display here in his portrayal as Bond villain Safin. He's entertaining, but he feels somewhat played down to what he could have been. But then again, aside from Le Chiffre in Casino Royale, who I thought was portrayed to perfection, all the villains in Daniel Craig's run have been a bit forgettable, and I think this one will be the same. Speaking of villains, we do get the return of Christoph Waltz as Blofeld, and I have to say I loved his interaction with Craig. It almost makes me want to go back and watch Spectre yet again and appreciate him more. You know what, I wouldn't be surprised if Spectre was director Cary Fukunaga's favourite Bond movie, because he seems determined to get everyone to rewatch it. Well, that and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which gets some very heavy nods too, but I can't discuss that further without getting into spoilers. The supporting cast are solid throughout. The familiar faces have their time to shine and have great chemistry in their screen time with Bond. Now there's been a lot said about Lashana Lynch as 007 Agent Nomi, and there was speculation that this film would be more about her than Bond. I thought she was really good in this, and she features a lot, but this is 100% Daniel Craig's film. James Bond is front and centre from the beginning to the end of this movie, and it looks like Craig is having fun throughout. He's serious when he needs to be, he kicks ass when he wants to, and has a little bit more humour than we've possibly seen him show in his other films. There is also a great depth of emotion on display in some key scenes. Whoever is chosen to play Bond next will have a tough act to follow, because I'd say that Daniel Craig is probably the most complete actor to ever play him. He still looks good in a tux too. One character that stole the show for me though is Ana de Armas as Paloma. I cannot tell you how awesome she is in this movie. I'd watch a film just with her in it. Now, in a recent interview with Radio Times, when asked if James Bond should ever be played by a woman, Craig said, "Why should a woman play James Bond when it should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman?" And in Ana de Armas's Paloma, we have exactly that. It is criminal how little she's in this movie though, but her performance will stick with me longer than some of the other action scenes will. Now there's something for everyone in this movie, and some parts do play like a James Bond's greatest hits, but it's also definitely not afraid to be original and take risks, most of which pay off. As for the ending, I'm really going to try to avoid spoilers here. It's powerful, it's emotional, but I didn't like it. and I think for some it'll ruin the whole movie. Now, they do throw the kitchen sink at the ending to try and make you feel every single ounce of emotion, but instead of tearing up, I was just left feeling frustrated. I think it's too soon though to judge whether it's a fitting ending to the Daniel Craig era until we see where the franchise goes next and how whoever is next cast as Bond picks up the mantle. One thing for certain though, and is the last thing you see as the credits roll, James Bond will return. And I'm excited to see who it is and how they approach it. So to wrap up, it's a good Bond movie. I'd rank it third out of the Daniel Craig films after Casino Royale and Skyfall. The ending is bothering me though, and I think I may have to rewatch it a few times to truly gauge how I feel about that. But what do you think? Have you seen No Time to Die? As always, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future videos. So until next time, my name is Dom, this is Geeks and Grapplers, ciao for now.